Hello, and thanks for mathing with me today. In today's video, we will learn how to use order of operations to simplify expressions. We're going to use the acronym GEMDAS to remember our order of operations. The G in GEMDAS stands for grouping symbols. These are things like parentheses or brackets, and we want to simplify what is inside any grouping symbol first. The E in GEMDAS represents exponents. And since you can write exponents as square roots, as you will learn later in Algebra 2, we simplify exponents and square roots second. The M in GEMDAS represents multiplication, and the D in GEMDAS represents division. These two are interchangeable, and usually we pick whichever one of these comes first in our expression. So multiplication and division are next. And then lastly, the A stands for addition and the S for subtraction. These two also are interchangeable, so usually we move left to right in our expression whenever we have addition and subtraction together. So again, to recap, grouping symbols are first, exponents second, multiplication and or division third, and lastly, addition and subtraction. Let's look at some examples. For example, we have grouping symbols. When we are simplifying grouping symbols, we see we have this set of grouping symbols in this example, and we also have another set of grouping symbols outside of that, these brackets. So when we're simplifying grouping symbols, we're going to simplify the symbols that are on the inside. Therefore, we're going to start with this simplification here, the 4 plus 2. We know that 4 plus 2 is 6. And then we want to rewrite the other things that we did not simplify. So we simplified the purple grouping symbols there. We got 6. We still have 6 divided by 3 in brackets. And that is going to come next. 6 divided by 3, we have just 2. When we look at the next example, we see we have an exponent. And in order to add 4 plus our second term in this expression, we need to first deal with the exponent. So this gives us 4 plus 3 squared is 9. So notice we simplified our exponent first, and now we can add 4 plus 9 is equal to 13. In the next example, we have 2 plus 4 times 3 divided by 2. Notice that we cannot move left to right because we need to do this multiplication first and this division before we do the addition. So we're going to go ahead and take care of the multiplication first since it comes first. When we do this, we want to rewrite anything that we're not simplifying. So rewrite 2 plus, and then we're simplifying 4 times 3, which is 12, and then we're going to rewrite our division by 2. Then we're going to simplify next our division, right? Multiplying division is first before addition. So we're going to rewrite our 2 plus, and then we're going to divide 12 by 2, which is 6. So now we have 2 plus 6. Now we can simplify our addition and we get 8. Lastly, adding and subtracting. In our last example, 5 plus 3 is 8, minus 4. Rewriting it since we didn't simplify it, 8 minus 4 is equal to 4. One of the biggest errors that I see people make is the difference between -2 squared versus -2 quantity squared. In the first example, -2 squared, the only thing that's being squared here is the 2, which means that we square the 2 and then make it negative. So -2 squared simplifies to -4. In the second example, notice that we have a set of parentheses, which means that everything inside of these parentheses is being squared. So -2 quantity squared means -2 times -2. And we learned previously that negative times a negative is equal to a positive, right? -2 times -2 is positive 4. So please be careful and don't make this mistake. Let's do some practice with order of operations. What's helpful when we first learn is to go through the operations in order from beginning to end using our GEMDAS. So for example, what we're looking for first is grouping symbols. So we're looking at our expression to see if there are any grouping symbols, and I don't see any. So I can move on to the next operation, which is exponents. Again, I look at our expression and I don't see any exponents. So next we're going to look for multiplication or division. We see that we have division here, right? That's the first thing we come across. We also have multiplication here. So we're going to take care of them one at a time, and we're going to move left to right to do that. So let's go ahead and simplify. 18 divided by 2 is going to simplify to 9. But what we have to do is remember to rewrite everything else in our expression that we did not simplify. So we have 3 plus 9 minus 7 times 7. And then I said we're going to simplify our multiplication, right? Because that came next in our order of operations. So I'm going to rewrite everything that we're not simplifying. So I'm going to rewrite my 3 plus 9, and we're going to subtract our 7 times 7, which is 49. And then we are thinking about the next order of operation. We took care of multiplication and division. What comes next is adding and subtracting. So we're going to move left to right. That's all we have left is one addition problem and one subtraction problem. We're going to move left to right. 3 plus 9 is 12. And then we're still subtracting 49 from 12, which gives us negative 37. Let's do another example together. Remember that we're looking for grouping symbols, and I do see a set of grouping symbols. However, when we're looking for grouping symbols to simplify, we're looking to simplify what's inside the grouping symbol. And in this case, we're already simplified because all we have is an integer. So what am I looking for next is exponents, and I don't see any exponents in this expression. So next up is going to be our multiplication and division, and we have division and multiplication, so we're going to simplify those one after the other. So the first one is our division since we're moving left to right. So we're rewriting everything else except when we get to 12 divided by 2, we're going to simplify that to 6. And then we have plus 6 times 3. All right, and next we're going to simplify that multiplication. So I'm going to keep my previous terms there. And when I simplify, I'm going to write plus 18 since 6 times 3 equals 18. And then lastly, what are we looking for? We're looking for addition and subtraction. We see we have 3 examples of those here, and so we're going to complete these left to right. So we have 6 plus 3, which is 9. We're going to rewrite minus 6 plus 18. We have 9 minus 6, which is 3, plus 18. And then lastly, 3 plus 18 is 21. Pause the video and try some examples of order of operations on your own. Remember to use the acronym GEMDAS to help you. All right, there were many steps if you took it one step at a time, but hopefully you were able to follow an order of operations and simplify these. Pause the video if you want to really take a look at how I simplified. I simplified the highlighted portion in each step to move to the next step. Let's try a couple more problems together. In this next example, we are going to simplify first our grouping symbols. So rewriting gives me 8 squared plus, what's 5 minus 12 is negative 7, and we're multiplying that by negative 6. Next is exponents. So 8 squared is 64, and we are adding that to negative 7 times negative 6. Next is multiplication. So we rewrite 64 and we're adding that to 42, which then simplifies to 106. Let's try another one. Number 6 says 12 minus the quantity 2 plus 1 minus 3 squared. Remember the first step is our grouping symbols here, so we're going to simplify 2 plus 1, which means we need to rewrite everything else first. So this is going to equal 12 minus, and then we simplify 2 plus 1 to equal 3, and we're subtracting 3 squared. Next, we want to simplify the exponent. So we rewrite everything else, 12 minus 3 minus, and then our 3 squared becomes 9. Now all that's left is subtraction. So we can subtract 12 minus 3, which is 9, and then we rewrite our minus 9, and then 9 minus 9 simplifies to 0, and that's our final answer. Pause the video now and try a few more examples on your own. Hopefully you paused the video and found that number 7 simplifies to 47 and number 8 simplifies to 16. I hope that you learned in this video how to simplify expressions using order of operations. Thanks so much for mathing with me.